Hello friends and welcome. Today I want to give you a bit of insight on when to buy Orb of Venom on Treant Protector and then how to play when you do commit to this item. This is something that I didn't like before, but I've been trying to test it out again recently and having some success, and so I want to share that with you guys. First things first, Treant Protector has a lot of different starting builds you can go, so why are we getting Orb of Venom? There's a couple conditions you need to meet first, and you can decide this in the draft. First of all, you need to have a carry who can play aggressively with you. So in this case, I have Weaver. Weaver is a very good hero right now, but he's also good at being aggressive. This is different from someone like Medusa, who even when she's a good hero, she's just kind of going to farm. She's not really looking for kills, like they might happen, but it's not really what she plans to do. And so because of that, we wouldn't buy an Orb of Venom. But heroes like Monkey King, Slark, Weaver, Chaos Knight, Juggernaut, those heroes who have very aggressive potential, and especially those who will excel in an extended fight, because all you offer is slows. That's why we're buying the Orb of Venom. Those kind of heroes is when you want to buy this Orb of Venom. Next, we want to think about the enemy. It's ideal if at least one of the enemy is melee. That makes it easy for you as a slow hero, Treant Protector, to approach them and then punch them. If they're both ranged, it's still possible, but it might depend on the heroes. Next, you want them to not have an escape skill, so something like a blink or some kind of like roll or something. That's harder because you really depend on slows. Again, Orb of Venom, 2 slowing spells. And if they can just blink away out of that, like, I have nothing to do. So really you want them to walk. Preferably they're a slow hero, but even if they're fast with all your slows, it's still possible. For your other starting items, a Tango's fine. A Mango's good because you really want to use both spells when you have them at level 2. And then a Salve is really good so that when you get low, you can quickly heal up and keep fighting. Imagine you get a kill, but you're low, they respawn, they teleport back, they kill you. You know, in the end, it's kind of a net even trade. So it's much better if you can heal up after that. Here you see like a very easy Mars first blood kill. Partly because of this Oov slow. It may have still been possible because of you've got a Weaver, but it definitely helps to have this Oov here. Now let's talk about what we're going to do in the laning stage. Oh, and I should say the Sentry was just because Weaver is invis, and so I thought they might have a Sentry. But usually you don't have to worry too much about pulls when you're going to play a really aggressive lane. You're looking to kill the enemy, and so if the lane pushes out, that's actually just a good chance for you to possibly kill them, and then you don't care that you push. So first off, you notice I'm harassing him a bit. We're not going for the kill right away, but look, he's starting to miss some health, and that's going to make it easier to kill him later, or he just has to play very safe, and that's kind of the same thing. If he can't even approach the lane, then that's a free lane. If you're going to get kills, it's great, but as long as he can't approach, it's fine. Next, you'll notice that I could go to do a small pull soon, but I'm not going to because I want to hit level 2 pretty quickly because Leech Seed and Nature's Grasp is when you really come online. Maybe you can get kills at level 1 depending on the matchup, but it's much easier once you have level 2 because you have 2 spells and because Leech Seed is a very good trading spell because it heals you as well. So that favors the extended trades. That's why the heroes like Slark and Monkey King are also very good because they like those kind of trades. So those are the ideal heroes. Now here, let's talk about why I cast this spell here. I'm still level 1, but this looked like a really good opportunity because look, this range creep is below 50%, so it's within deny range, but it's not so low that one auto attack will kill it and one spell will kill it. Odds are Mars has to use both a spell and an auto attack to kill this range creep here. So I know he wants to walk up here and he's going to be forced to stay here for about a second or 2. Or he has to run away and then I get the deny. Either of those are pretty good situations for me. So that's why I come out here and I'm willing to cast the spell so that you'll notice he's starting to take damage and he chooses to run away, and so later we'll be able to deny that creep, except I think Hoodwink's going to grab it here. But it means Mars not going to get it, and if Hoodwink wasn't paying attention, then we would get the deny. I can't believe these creeps didn't see me. That's crazy. You see here I hit level 2, and so I'm looking for a kill. Hoodwink just used her stun. So that's one of the ways they can disengage from a fight. It's not an escape skill, but it is a stun. As we both go on, say, Mars, if she stuns both of us, they can run away and reset the fight. But she has just used her stun, and so we decide this is a great time to go. We're level 2. A little bit of a miscommunication here. We target different heroes. You should target the same one. But fortunately, because Hoodwink is still level 1 and we're level 2, She has no way to get out of here. She probably wouldn't take Scurry level 2 anyways. I don't know, maybe to survive she would. But you're gonna find we pick up a pretty easy kill here. And then Mars decides, you know, Weaver's pretty low, so he wants to go. This is why Leech Seed is a great spell for this stuff. It baits the enemies in when you're looking low health, and slowly you're healing your allies. Look, he would be dead without Leech Seed right there. And because of that, while he's going for Weaver, I get to punch him down. Then I'm going to heal up Weaver. This is exactly why we bought the salve. Weaver was super low. Hoodwink's about to respawn. She's probably walking in the lane right now. So if she were to snipe Weaver, they would feel overall okay with this trade. And if Weaver was so low that maybe he doesn't get killed, but he has to like stay way back here because he's scared to approach because he doesn't want to die and he has to wait to tango up and everything like that, you know, we're going to miss out creeps. That's not what we want. We want to crush the laning stage and get all the farm. So this is why the salve is great and why I'm buying so much regen. You'll see that's what I have queued up next as well. I want to keep this going. We can get kills. I just need to have enough mana. And I have 1 mango and the stick right now, but if I didn't have these, I don't have my spells. And how can I fight? I can punch with Orb of Venom. That's cool. But the kills are really coming because I have these spells. So that's why we're going to focus so much on regen here. Now this is a good time to say, Treant Protector, I've kind of already said it. He mainly focuses on attack damage. Let me pause here because there's something else we're going to talk about here in a moment. Treant Protector has a base damage of 91 at level 1. That is almost 40 points higher than the average attack damage. Like out of all the heroes combined, the average attack damage is 53. So Treant Protector crushes most right-click trades when it comes to like 1-to-1 hits, which is what you can get when you pop out of the trees. So that is also how you should approach using your spells in these fights. You're just using these spells to slow the enemy down so you can punch them more. Your damage doesn't come from these spells, it comes from punching them. That's why we combine a lot of slows so that not only can we punch them, but our teammate can punch them. For example, you could buy Windlace or Boots instead of Orb of Venom. I might be able to keep up with the enemy, but then carries that I'm paired with may not be able to. Weaver could, but someone like Slark, someone like Monkey King, they might fall behind because they're slower. That's why when your carry can also play aggressively, you buy Orb of Venom. If you had someone like Medusa, you don't need the Orb of Venom, but maybe you can still play aggressively. That's when you could buy Move Speed. Now here, Hoodwink has run up, Mars is still dead, I know she's alone, and look at all these creeps that are alive. She should really just wait here, but instead she again uses 2 of her spells. Those are her escape mechanics, not really an escape, but like you stun, you slow, that's how you try to get away. Both of those go on cooldown, we have a lot of creeps here, this is time to fight. So you're gonna see me use my spell. This was slightly unoptimal on the slow, but notice the angle. The idea is that you cut them off as much as possible and force them to run through your slow or to change angles. So you'll notice here, if she were to run straight down, she'd be in my slow for a long time. So she has to spend a little bit of time running to the right, which is ever so slightly suboptimal to escape to the tower as quickly as possible. You do want to make sure you touch them, though, with your Nature's Grasp. Like, let's say I was able to just cut her off like this. Yes, she would have to run through it, but she's actually not slowed right now, and so she may just change direction completely. If you at least hit them with the slow, even if they choose to change direction, you're still getting an effect from it. You're still getting a chance to run up and then punch them and apply Leech Seed. So do try to hit them with it, but then try to cut off the route as much as possible. So here you see 2 combined slows. A very easy cleanup. And you'll notice, again, I'm continuing to buy regen. I probably don't even need the salve, but I'm just getting it to be safe. Now, as you get a lot of kills, what you can look to do is try to pull to further deny the enemy. So you see we have a big wave here. I only end up grabbing 2 of the creeps, so not as good as it could have been. But the reason this works out is because we're winning the lane, obviously. We've gotten a couple kills. I want to keep doing this. I want to keep fighting. Eventually, they're going to learn, like, yeah, you probably shouldn't walk all the way up here. We keep dying. So you need to create reasons to have these types of fights. And so one of those can be keeping lane equilibrium up here, forcing Mars to walk up, and then you can do what I've done several times now and just kill him. Or if you do these hard camp pulls, it forces them to come contest, and then you can get those the fights you want. This is not as good as having equilibrium up here, though, because you can see it's closer to their tower, so you don't have as much time to run over. But in general, this kind of pull is better than in a usual kind of lane because we're willing to fight. If you have very passive heroes, you don't want to do these pulls because you don't want to fight at all. But when you do want to fight, you're pretty happy that you can do this and try to deny some creeps. And you see here, I do manage to deny 1 or 2. Now this small pull isn't to really deny creeps. I mean, that's definitely a benefit. I'm still happy with that. But the whole point of it is to draw the lane back. Look, it's hard to kill Mars here, right? Because look how close he is to his tower. It'd be really tough to run him down here. So I need him to walk up here. And like I said, how you do that is to get creep equilibrium to go up there. So this is a temporary solution. I pull, it's going to draw the lane back. But then as most of you know, a single pull like this usually pushes the lane out again. And that's usually bad, but when you're in an aggressive lane, that is not so bad because we can use that creep advantage to just go and fight. So if we draw the lane up here, it forces Mars to come up here, and we kill him, and then we just shove the lane into his tower, and he's dead, so he misses all that. Or he chooses, okay, I'm just going to stay way back here. I'm going to like let them play safe. It still allows us to deny a lot of creeps. We do end up pushing, but then we can, again, try to use like the hard camp, or maybe you're strong enough to then even dive with a large creep wave equilibrium. So when you're playing an aggressive lane, those kind of single pulls like I just did are not so bad. And you'll see here he is, forced to come up. I ping him. We're going to go kill him. Look at the way I cast Nature's Grasp. I am touching Mars with the Nature's Grasp to immediately apply the slow, immediately get a little bit of damage. It's not a lot, but a little bit. But then also, look, he has to choose. Do I keep running straight? Do I cut a bit to the right? Do I turn around and go this way? Yes, it's out of Nature's Grasp slow, but this is not towards his tower. So it forces him to run through the Nature's Grasp as long as possible. That gives me a chance to run up and punch him. Now, when you're playing in a really aggressive lane, you can choose to take 2 points in Leech Seed. A Rage Buyback feels great. You can get 2 points in Leech Seed. This is better when you have a melee carry as well, because Weaver might not even be in range for Leech Seed to get the heal out of it, and then it's like, I'm healing, but like whatever, it's not so good. But if your carry is also melee, then that ends up being really good. And if both enemy heroes are melee, also really good, because that usually clumps everyone together. Leech Seed gets a lot of value in those kind of games. But to be honest, I thought they would learn their lesson by now and that they wouldn't keep running up here. And Leech Seed, multiple levels in Leech Seed, aren't so good if you aren't fighting. Like, Leech Seed excels in fights and is pretty useless in every other situation. So that's why I took a second point in Nature's Grasp, because I really thought the fighting's got to die down now, right? 5 deaths or something. Like, surely they must learn. But no. When this guy Rage Buys back, this is a mental damage opportunity. If you kill him again here, this guy is so done. And so I tell that to the Weaver, and I say, if this guy walks up, we should fight. So that's why I'm staying out of sight. I'm trying to bait Mars to come up here. But he has learned his lesson a bit. He's waiting back here. And so I'm still trying to like pretend I went over to a pull. It's kind of baiting him in a little bit, but he is still being safe. So I'm just going to punch him a little bit, zone him away. If he does walk up too far, we'll fight. But I'm going to start lowering his health a little bit to make the kill easier. I don't want to draw creep aggro. I see Hoodwink walking up, so I think, oh, maybe the chance is gone. But up here, this is still like a good spot to fight, and so we can fight. And then Hoodwink uses the spell. This is like the 3rd time now, guys, so I think you should know this is go time. They've just wasted one of their spells. Maybe it wouldn't be a waste if she had hit like Weaver or myself, but that was their way to win a fight or disengage, to do a chain stun off the Mars Spear and everything. As soon as that spell is only used on creeps, it's time for us to fight. And you see, I immediately start running in. Weaver knows as well. He immediately uses Swarm, misses the Hoodwink. It's not a big deal. Very easy. Another Rage Buyback. Feels great. And then guess what? Some nice body blocks from Weaver, and then we're going to get another kill. So let's start to recap this before we switch into some other examples from a different game. You want an aggressive carry, and that's when you're going to buy Oov, assuming the enemy does not have some kind of escape or they're double ranged and very fast, in which case it's going to be really hard to get up to them to apply this Oov, and it's not going to be so good. You can also do pulls to try to get equilibrium closer to your side. Look at that, an abandoned feels good. That's why I use this example. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, you can do these kind of single pulls like I'm doing now to try to draw the lane up here. And then when you go and fight, you're waiting for them to walk out of position. You can punch them a little bit if they're not out of position just to whittle them down. But as soon as you see them go out of position, and if you ever see them use spells wastefully, that is the time to go. Just run in, punch them, apply Leech Seed, and then try to use Nature's Grasp. Well, actually, it'll depend on positioning. We'll talk about that in the next example. Now in this example, I'm paired with a Slark versus a Mars and Earth Spirit. So all melee, you're going to see me take 2 points in Leech Seed, and Slark, again, fits that description we talked about, really good at long fights because of Essence Shift. Now, because you bought aggressive items, you can look to join early fights. I didn't really expect the enemy to all come up like they did here, but you can look for these kind of fights. You can look for first blood attempts. I didn't do it last time because our draft wasn't as good for it, but this time with a Tusk, a Slark, LC, all very strong early game heroes, I was on the lower half of the map looking for a fight. Didn't expect to find like the whole team here, but that's what I was looking for. And you'll notice I'm spending my money on more regen because the Oov and my 2 spells are all I really need to get kills. You can get a magic stick if you think it'll be a good stick lane, if you have the money for it. So you see, first, we're just going to start punching, apply a slow. We realize Earth Spirit is mid, that's why we commit here. That's why I was a little late on this cast. I thought I was just casually harassing here, because I thought Earth Spirit was here, but as soon as he shows bottom, and then as soon as I realize, oh, Slark is willing to fight like this, again, notice the way I cast my spell. I'm trying to hit him with it, but cut off as much of an angle as possible. If I did this too steep and did it like this way, he might not be slowed and might decide, okay, let me just run around this way, and he'll never get slowed. He'll still be running away the whole time, and we're going to be missing creeps, and so Slark wouldn't be so tempted to chase this fight. But because he's slowed, you'll notice he is having to run through it, and so Slark's able to get off a bunch of hits. He does get away, but I mean, look at this guy. He has to salve right now. Uh-oh, doesn't have a salve, so that means he can't even approach the lane anymore. He has to do so extremely carefully. And so what I want to do now is start to fix equilibrium, and so you'll notice I'm just punching my own creeps. I want the lane to stay near here as much as possible. I want to hit level 2 before they do. Both of those can be accomplished by denying your own creeps. Now I want to get the Mars. He's the more important kill, so I'm going to poke him a bit, make sure he can't come up here. We do hit level 2. I know that I might get speared, but you can see I don't really care because I know we can get this kill. So let's recap that real quick. I want it to cut off the path. This time, it's okay to just like throw it out because I know he has to run through here or he has to run around me. Although ideally, I probably would have cast it from these trees. That's probably my bad, guys. I'll admit it. Then we're going to apply our next slow pretty quickly and then start punching him. I wanted to throw the slow off immediately because I knew I might get speared away. Usually you want to like attack, spell, attack sort of deal. But in this case, I knew the spear was coming, so I apply the slow first to guarantee that Slark gets the benefit of the slow while I'm speared away. And you see there, a very easy kill from there. And so it doesn't matter so much that we push this lane up because Mars isn't going to be here. And so if we get it to the tower fast enough, it's not going to be a big deal. In this case, he is going to make it back in time. And so I'm going to start looking for a pull. And here's what I mean about people having escapes. So Earth Spirit comes to contest this pull. And I'm just going to punch him a little bit. And then I decide to commit for it because he's low enough. I apply the second slow just in case, and I was trying to get in front of him, but you can see he just escapes, and so the slow doesn't really do anything when you have that kind of mobility. So that's why ideally you play against heroes who don't have that. And in this case, there is the Earth Spirit, but we can still kill the Mars. So that's why I still went for the Oov this game. If the Mars was a different offlaner who also had an escape, maybe someone like Darkseer who can surge away through your slows, then I may not have done it. I was going to look to do a pull because I didn't know where he was, but then Mars reveals he's here. I know Earth Spirit's not here, so I'm pinging this. I don't know what Slark was doing. He's like AFK a little bit. You'll notice here I apply Leech Seed first. The reason for that is, okay, let's go back. If I were to apply Nature's Grasp first in this situation, think of how I've used it in all the other cases. I place it in a downward angle so that they're forced to run through it. If I place it in this like horizontal angle, he gets to choose if he runs back, maybe he runs forward and loops around, things like that. And so I'm just going to apply the first slow Leech Seed and wait for him to commit to an escape path. Now I know he's trying to run down, and now I'm going to cut off the path with Nature's Grasp. And you see I try to punch him first before using it because that is the optimal situation. And in this case, I do have time to do so. Here, I can just let Slark hit him. I'm just trying to provide vision through the trees. If you have to go for the kill, it's fine. It's no big deal. Another Rage buyback. Let's go. And you see this time I took 2 points in Leech Seed because it's an all melee lane. Here we are. We're going to look for a pull because we pushed the lane up. This is a good time to do it and force Mars to try to contest us. And if not, kill him. So you see here, he's too scared to come up. Slark is literally in front of the tower, and he doesn't care. He knows we're stronger. Mars comes up. I'm trying to like let him walk in, feel tempted to come in, But now that Slark has all these creeps, he can't join this fight. So this is an important thing to note. Weaver's very different. If Weaver's here and you fight here, Weaver's here because he has the insta move speed. But Slark and every other hero is going to take time to approach from the lane to this camp. So when the lane pushes like this, it's not time for you to go crazy and fight. But you can still fight a little bit, push, use some of your spells, especially in this case, I'm full mana. I don't remember what I do. Oh yeah, okay, I'm willing to apply the slow. And you see Slark like, okay, maybe I'll come over, but you see he doesn't make it in time. And I didn't really expect him to either. I'm just zoning the Mars away, getting him a little low so that in the next time he comes out of position, we can get an easier kill. Instead of having to kill all of his health, you know, he's already at like 50% or 70%, something like that. Now you notice I'm looking around for him. I'm running around like this. Once you're winning the lane, this is something offlaners might do. They might try to hide in the trees to just absorb XP because they can't really show in the lane. And as Treant Protector, you're perfectly fine looking for them in the trees, and we don't want them to stay in the trees. If you find them there, they're in a very dangerous spot, and you can kill them easily. So we're just going to check in, make sure he's not stealing any XP. And anytime he seems like he's up too close, we can cast a couple spells and zone him away. It's okay if you don't get kills. We just don't want him to enter the creep wave anymore. We've established that we have the advantage. We've killed him a couple times. Anytime he walks up, you can go for the kill, and it's not a big deal if you don't get it. Easy peasy, walks up, simple kills like that. Finally, I want to show you an example where things don't go as smooth. I don't want to sell you a fake idea. It's not super easy to do every time. Let me show you how you can mess it up. So in this case, you'll notice I don't have an Orb of Venom. It's because Monkey King has the Orb of Venom. If he didn't have one, I would buy one. But if the carry's going to buy one, especially if they're going to buy Orb of Corrosion, sure, let him buy it. And on my end, I switched to another Mango and then a Windlace. The Windlace will help me keep up and punch people still, and it will also let me get in position to use my spells a little faster, which the Mango will also help with. Now in this lane, you'll notice Equilibrium's already starting to shift in their favor, and that's going to be our downfall. But you can see how good we are at trading. Like, we almost kill this Pango. If you didn't have that Fairy Fire, it probably would have been a kill, but the sacrifice for that is that we kind of messed up Equilibrium a little bit. And so it's going to be harder to make an aggressive play. So here we are, even though we're level 2, even though we have a bunch of creeps built up, we're going to go for it, but look how much harder it is. We just started the attempt, and he's next to his tower. It's much harder than over here, and all those other attempts you saw, even if they're not here, they're like over here, and it gives you much more time to chase. So in this case, we do go for the kill. We get pretty close. He gets quite low, but you'll see I end up having to run away, and I end up accidentally feeding a little bit. Oops. But you'll notice Pango also gets close to dying. So the thing is, if we weren't next to their tower, this would have been an incredible trade. I would not have died. We'd probably kill one of them, maybe both. But because they're next to the tower, and because I got greedy, I ended up feeding. You know, I probably could have just backed off and been happy with the trade, but I really wanted it. So I just wanted to give you guys this warning. This is why I was doing all those things we talked about, to try to keep Equilibrium up here, because it's much easier to start a fight over here, not to mention all these trees that let you walk through and surprise them. Whereas up here, there's no trees for you. They're right next to their tower. It's very tough to take an aggressive fight. You might still be able to, kind of like you saw. We did take a winning fight, except for my feeding, but it's much riskier. So do yourself a favor, try to keep Equilibrium up here, do the pulls we talked about if you have to, but you don't want to do pulls if you don't have to. That's why I stayed in the lane to hit level 2. After that, you can do more pulls if you need to, but you do want to try to get the kills on the level 2 power spike. So that is it for this video, guys. Thank you. I hope you found that helpful, especially maybe all you Treant players. If you're not a Treant player, keep an eye out for this. If you see Treant and a strong carry, avoid this. My advice to you, cut these trees. That'll make it a lot easier to avoid dying. Bye.